thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on Real Talk Live are not necessarily those of the management, staff, or owners of More FM Company Limited or its affiliates. Real Talk Live is a production of the More FM Radio Network. All rights are reserved.
Straight talk, no punches pulled, no holds barred. Real Talk Live right now on the Bahamas Superstation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ortland H. Bodie Jr., host of Real Talk Live. I am here this morning with my colleague and associate, Mr. Rudy Magical Grant. I have been bestowed a new name. I am now called the Han. I want to say especially good morning to Plummy. How's Plummy doing today? But ladies and gentlemen, we're expecting the former F&M Senator Barry Malcolm to show up on the show this morning. It has been confirmed. They have to travel from Freeport, Grand Bahama, along with another director of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. Tomorrow, we have also confirmed a prominent attorney in Queen's Counsel, Fred Smith, who will be coming on the show to discuss environmental issues and, of course, some comments on current events. A special good morning to all our listening audience here throughout the Bahamas and the 4.7 million around the world via the internet. A special good morning to Mr. Chris Forsyth and his lovely wife down there in Spanish Wells, and all of the persons in Eleuthera, Harbour Island, and, of course, Spanish Wells. This morning, we are so very pleased to be sponsored by the following: Kentucky Fried Chicken, Super Wash, Cool Tech Air Conditioning, Sans Beer produced by Bahamian Brewery and Beverage Company Limited, Patelco, that's BTC, the Bank of the Bahamas, Burger King, Talmay's Pharmacy, Dr. Cash, Original Cuts, Jane's Uniforms, Island Windshield, Premier Clinical Laboratory, Electronic Doctors, The Air Conditioning Depot, Audio Plus, Cable Guy, Virgo Car Rental, Island-made, locally produced products in the Bacardi Industrial Complex, just off Bacardi Road, the Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited, and more FM promotional, Down Home Thursday. That's at the night spot just in the Summer Wind Plaza, next to the headquarters for a Shore Wind. That's hosted by Mr. Rudy Magical Grant. It starts on the 9th of October, and you are invited to come on by. I will make a special appearance along with Plummy. Or is it Plummy? Lord of mercy, boy, I get in some big trouble with Plummy, eh? Plummy! Good morning with your fever grass self. We're going to be back after a commercial break.
More Real Talk Live right after this on the Bahamas Superstation.
Island Windshield, your one-stop shop for all models, including American and Japanese vehicles. With trained technicians, we supply and specialize in windshields, door, back, and quarter glass sales and installations. We're located off Wolf Road, opposite AID, and now in Carmichael Road with guaranteed low prices, free roadside service, delivery to the boat, and insurance estimates no one can beat. Our prices are tried and proven, and for the stylish, we've also added window tinting. Call or visit us today at 394-8018 and now on Carmichael Road at 341-4120. Island Windshield, where customer service is their #1 priority. Attention to all civil servants not presently members of the Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Bring your lump sum into Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited in Nassau or Freeport. Deposit between $250 and $1,000 and you can be approved for double that amount pending the reception of proper identification, current job letter, most recent salary slip, NIB card, one-time membership fee of $10, and an approved salary deduction form. That's right, civil servants. A loan approved within 24 hours. This offer is for a limited time on Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Telephone 323-6594 or 351-7129.
Hanging with your friends, it's homecoming time again. Mashing crab and dough and slamming domino and sipping a sans. Sans beer. Refreshing and flavorful, with the man and the boat on the label. Brewed right over here, a truly Bahamian beer. Sans beer.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Stores or your favorite restaurants and liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
Summer is sizzling at Burger King Nassau with 2 new delicious mushroom and Swiss burgers you'll love. For Whopper lovers, try the new mushroom and Swiss bacon Whopper that has all the fixins, plus a quarter pound of fire-grilled beef, topped with savory sautéed mushrooms, bacon, and Swiss cheese on a sesame seed bun. Or try the Mushroom and Swiss Big King, available in a combo or as part of the 2 for $7 menu. Summer sizzles with mushroom and Swiss burgers at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Mobile internet just got cheaper than ever before. Introducing 99 cents a day data from BTC. For only 99 cents, subscribers can receive the same 100 megabytes of data they're used to, but for 1/3 of the price with a 24-hour usage time limit. 99 cents a day is here to stay. BTC. Every day.
Check out the professional barbers at Original Cuts, Carmichael Road, located opposite Golden Gates Assembly Church. We specialize in haircuts for men, women, and little boys for all occasions. At Original Cuts, your haircut will spell success. We also specialize in dealing with and getting rid of those unwanted razor bumps. We're open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Friday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come and get your hair professionally cut today at Original Cuts. Give us a call, 601-8318 or 424-5832.
Need a refrigerator, stove, wash machine, or dryer? Electronic Doctors have these as well as air conditions. Would you believe all your satellite needs? Electronic Doctors unlock and repair phones. They carry the newest cell phones and USB speakers that come in the hottest scale model cars with unbelievable sounds. Cell phone accessories, anything electronic. It's Electronic Doctors, open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday in the East Street South Shopping Plaza, south of the roundabout. Phone 322-7286.
Common sense with uncommon sensibility. Real Talk Live.
The Bahamas Superstation.
This is the Bahamas Superstation.
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Ortland, it's Bodie Jr. Call on the line. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, my brother.
Yeah, good morning to you, and Mr. Bodie. Good morning to your guests. You know, I don't want to get religious, but I just want to read this portion of the scripture first before I make my comment.
Not a problem.
Psalms 127. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman wake it out but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. You know, I stop at that, you know, and I'd like to comment, you know, we all about and saying, well, the economy this and the economy that, and you know, the Christian people, and I Christian people.
Hold on 1 minute for me. Hold on 1 minute. Mr. Grant, put that call on hold for me. Just a quick second. Just hold on for me.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I apologize. Go ahead, please.
You know, we all up in arms and worrying about this, worrying about that. But whoever we elect and so forth, and that is there, you know, to run the country and so forth, we need to, you know, who in the power inside the Christian religions and so forth, you know, get on our knees and pray, you know, because don't care how we talk about it and so forth, if that wasn't built by the Lord, you know, whatever was going on, running on and so forth, that ain't change nothing, you know.
Well, I don't know if it running on wouldn't change anything because, you know, back in the day, if Sir Lyndon and his merry band of followers did not agitate and run on, we would not be enjoying the democracy that we are enjoying today.
Yeah, I agree to that part.
So, you know, agitation, you know, it's all right to have your little faith or your big faith, but faith without works is a dead issue.
But I still believe in that what could be, you know.
Well, I'm not a fatalistic type person, you know. There's some things, what we call karma, that we simply cannot, how should I put it, avoid, or you could change certain things. For instance, if you see a big truck coming down Hawkins Hill, you know, common sense will tell you that you should take evasive action. Now, even though sometimes people see the truck coming, they still stand right there and get rolled over.
Yeah,
so you can change some things. But, you know, I don't want you to be discouraged or anybody else in this country. Yes, we have plenty of challenges, right? But as you said just now, the Lord is in charge. And his mercies, as you very well know, will endure it forever.
That's right.
So we covered, man. I mean, you know, we have a bunch of knuckle-headed politicians and other leaders in the civic and religious other fields. But I am more than persuaded that we here in the Bahamas, we are extremely, not to use the cliche, extremely blessed, and we are highly favored of God.
I agree too to that part. But it's so you know, you sit down many days and see people who live in all kind of holly-golly life, and they doing all kind of things within according to the word of God and according to the law of the land, and they prospering.
Yeah, but you know your scriptures, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know your scriptures where it is written in the Bible that, you know, you don't be envious of persons who appear to prosper, because at a convenient point they will wither up as the grass and will be no more.
You know,
how many persons you would have known over the years who were allegedly big time business persons, big time drug dealers, big time politicians, big time pastors, and where are they today? Gone.
You know, like they say, be powerful, be merciful. You know, you need a lot of people on jobs and in areas and so forth. They get being oppressed by people who know better. You know,
and should do better towards them.
And that's why many times you see crime comes about sometimes, because people they get tired, like how the Israelites get tired of the Egyptians stepping on their neck.
No, I really believe what it is in many cases, including sometimes myself, communication. We don't listen. You know, if we'll be still sometime and listen to other person's opinions and viewpoints,
I agree,
then we'll have a good dialogue. But most of us, including myself, we like to shoot our mouths off without allowing the other person or people to say what they need to say. So we have a problem with communication. That is why our leaders right now get this country jacked right up. They ain't listening to nobody. They only talking at us, but they're not hearing what we are saying.
Yeah, I like to take this time also to commend you, you know, that despite what people may think about you, may say you self-conceited and sort of arrogant, you just committed with it, you know, you just be yourself, right?
Well,
but the other talk shows and people, you can't even approach them sometimes. When you say things, they think they know everything. They don't give you opportunity even to say your part.
Let me tell you, my brother, I have a supreme degree of confidence in myself. I know who I am.
That's right.
And when you know who you are and whose you are, which is more important, man, I couldn't give a two red cents what people say or think about me. That is not important.
That's right.
It's how you react to what people say or think about you.
Yeah, you definitely Miles Monroe's son.
Miles Monroe? I'm Miles Monroe. Brother boy, you better stop.
You have a good day, yeah?
God bless you, and I love you. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, okay, you do.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say that again. We need to learn how to listen. There's an expression that we need to sit small. Well, I came up with an expression last night after an incident that I'm going to sit. What's the thing? You sit small, but I'm going to sit even smaller, because I probably sitting on a high horse too big. And these comments are addressed to what? Plumbing, alias the hand. And I see my special guests have arrived from Grand Bahama. We have former Senator Malcolm, and of course we have another gentleman who looks like Malcolm's. Man, Malcolm, you whispering in my ear, man. You better stop, you know. I listen, what happened in Grand Bahama? Stuff in the water down there. We have Senator Barry Malcolm, former F&M Senator under the administration of my good friend, Right Honorable Hubert, Prime Minister. And we have another gentleman who is accompanying him, another executive from the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. Well, since Barry Malcolm is the president of the Chamber in Grand Bahama, we'll ask Barry to please. I can call you Barry because I've known you all of my life.
Please do, please do.
Okay. Go right ahead, Barry, please.
Good morning, Mr. Bodie. Great to be here. Good morning, Nassau. I'm here with my colleague and fellow director, Dillon Knowles, who has been very instrumental and a great part of putting together the recommendations we provided to the Bahamas government with regard to the future of Freeport. We have a great team in the chamber, a good group of folks who've spent the last 2 years really looking at Freeport, looking at what's happened in Freeport over the last 40 plus years, and really coming up with a set of recommendations which we hope will be taken under advisement as the powers that be look at what happens to Freeport after 2015. As you know, there are several provisions of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement which gave rise to Freeport, which fall away or can change in August of next year, and we feel that represents an opportunity for us as Bahamians to really put forward a set of recommendations and, more importantly, put in place a structure for the future of Freeport, which really builds Freeport as an economic tool that works for the benefit of all of us as Bahamians and really works as an integral part of the Bahamian economy as it was intended to be.
Well, Barry Malcolm, for those persons, and there might not be that many who might not know who Barry Malcolm is, I know you tend to be a modest man. Publicly, I don't know how you are privately. I'm sure you beat your chest just like myself and shout like Tarzan in the jungle when you're in private. But for those who don't know you, Senator, would you tell us a little bit about your background and whence comest thou?
Well, you mentioned my antecedents as an F&M senator, and while that's a very important part of my life and my early history, I think of myself less in political terms and much more in business terms. I'm a firm believer that this country has tremendous capacity to outpace its competitors in the region and indeed in the world. But we also have to have over the last many years not focused as we should on the assets we do have to make best use of those assets for the development of our economy. And I'm a firm believer that development of the country through strong economic programs, through strong planning, and most importantly through strong execution of programs for development is critical to the success of any country. Dillon will talk more about this in a minute, but if you look around the world, the countries that are successful, the countries that are, and I'm talking about countries that are quote-unquote developing countries, that those that are most successful are those that have taken the objective stance that, look, notwithstanding certain strictures in our own economy, notwithstanding certain biases in our own economy, we're going to take the steps to put in place structures that ensure that our economy can compete with the economies of other parts of the world. And you do it as a matter of national policy, as a matter of national focus, understanding that if you get it right, you can drive through one sector growth of your entire economy that causes prosperity for a broad cross-section of the people. That's the game. And unless we play in that game, we will always be marginal in terms of our effectiveness and our competitive strength against other countries in the world.
Well, I still can. It's like pulling your wisdom tooth, I'm still trying to get something out of you. You went to which high school? You went to what university? What was your discipline? What did you graduate? What kind of degree did you get? That's what I want to hear from you, man, or what the people want to hear. They want to hear who this Barry Malcolm is and why Barry Malcolm is so passionate about what he does and why Barry Malcolm stood to be elected as the chairman or president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. People like to people's business around here.
Mr. Bodie, if you listen to me for 5 seconds, you say, well, which high school are you from? You know it can only be SAC.
It could only be?
You know that, Mr.
You mean you're part of the Bay Red Machine?
Absolutely. You know that, Mr. Bodie.
Oh, I knew it, but I didn't know who all know.
Oh, yeah. I'm from SAC, and I went to school at St. Augustine's, and then after St. Augustine's, I went off to university in the U.S., Minnesota. My background is in finance and economics. I like business. I like development, and I've worked in all of my different incarnations over the years here at home in the Bahamas. I would characterize all of what I've done as being somehow tied to business and economic development in the country, whether it was BFSB, whether it was my time at the Inter-American Development Bank, whether it was my time at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, or in my own businesses. The focus has always been on entrepreneurship and economic development within the country. As I said, I believe the country has enormous opportunities for us to grow, enormous opportunities for us to be prosperous. We just have to take advantage of them. We have to grab them, seize them, and do the smart things that other countries are now doing to be competitive and to win.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, you see why I invited this young man to attend this show this morning. Too many of you Bahamians out there, inclusive, I guess, in Grand Bahama here in New Providence, are looking to government, looking to some other external sources for a decent income. Entrepreneurship, ladies and gentlemen, is crucial. I have known of the former senator's business career and his achievements, but I just wanted him to tell you, so I didn't make a mistake in telling you what I believe I would know to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I know a particular young lady, only in the 20s. She's a natural brain box and a beauty queen. She has a job, but she's also an entrepreneur. And I commend her, and I commend any other persons. You have a niche, you have a talent. Develop your talent, get some additional training if necessary, and launch out into the deep. Make sure you have your life jacket on. Okay, we have here Mr. Dillon F. Knowles. You know, Dillon, that's a big name. You know, Dillon, the Dillon brothers. That's up in Wall Street and all the kind of things. Good morning, sir. Tell us a bit about who you are and what role you're playing in the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Mr. Bodie, and good morning, Bahamas. Yes, I'm a native of New Providence. I attended Queens College High School here in Nassau, and after that I moved on to McGill University in Montreal, Canada, where I studied and obtained a degree as a chemical engineer.
So you parlez-vous français?
Oui, un petit peu.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
When I graduated from McGill, I then transferred and moved to Grand Bahama, where I took up occupation at the former Syntex Pharmaceuticals in Freeport, and I worked on that site for successive owners of the site for 19 years in various capacities, starting off as a project engineer, becoming at the end the director of engineering and then the director of operations, up until the time that the site was closed in 2001.
You're a brain box, director of operations? I mean, you run the whole company just about.
Yes, sir.
Yes, basically.
That's amazing, eh? And you still look like a little boy. Don't tell us your age, because, you know, these people around here, they running straight to the web shop if you say a number.
I am a little boy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a little boy at heart.
Okay.
When I left the what was then Honeywell Pharmaceuticals, I then took on employment at the Grand Bahama Port Authority as the director responsible for the technical department, the building and development services function of the Port Authority, which is basically equivalent to the Ministry of Works. And I had responsibility for the permitting and regulating of all the development, the physical development of Freeport, involved in creating environmental department, the Port Authority, the Geographical Information Systems Department, and a lot of other systems that supports the ongoing management and regulation of the built environment in Freeport. I then transferred from the GBPA over to the Grand Bahama Development Company, the sister company of the Port Authority, as the Vice President of Development responsible for land development, land sales, and business development. And I was there in that capacity up until 2011, at which point in time I was separated from the company and I went actually back to school. I engaged myself at the Heisinger Business School at Nova Southeastern University and acquired a master's degree in business administration, and on completion of that launched my own consulting service as a independent engineer and management consultant.
And that is your current occupation?
That is my current occupation.
Dillon F. Knowles, consulting extraordinaire.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen here, Grand Bahama is poised, I believe. I know they've been through a lot of challenges, but Grand Bahama is poised for a recovery. And I still say that a lot of you Bahamians who live here in New Providence, who crease up like sardines or whatever else and living a subpar life, standard of living, you may want to consider relocating or certainly acquiring a piece of real estate in Grand Bahama, or in particular in Freeport, because land here in New Providence is beyond the reach of the average person. Unless you are a semi-millionaire like myself, you're going to have difficulties even acquiring a piece of property in the Nassau Village area, which people wouldn't take or accept some years ago. Dillon, in terms of the development aspects of your job when you worked with the port, what went wrong? There seems, the last time I was down in Freeport proper, there seemed to be a lot of abandoned lots which are well laid out, but they appear to have been abandoned, even homes. People just left them right there.
Well, Mr. Bodie, you know, Freeport is really a tale of two eras. The first era being the Wallace Groves era, where Freeport acted truly as a free trade zone, a liberalized business environment where financial, human, and intellectual capital flowed into the city and developed the city that you see today. The second era, really, which we like to refer to as the post-Groves era, but had a lot of components to it which impacted the growth and development of Freeport, some of which were related to changes in national policy, national practice as it related to the free trade zone, and others of it related to changes in the Grand Bahama Port Authority itself in response to those national policy changes, which has resulted over the last 4 decades, really, in Freeport being in caretaker mode more so than development mode.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to engage both former Senator Barry Malcolm and, of course, Mr. Dillon F. Knowles. What the F stands for? Nothing obscene.
Nothing obscene.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to be back shortly. Those persons who want to call in, and we invite residents of Grand Bahama in particular, but residents from throughout the Bahamas. 341-6673, 124-2300-6673, toll free for many of the family violence, including Grand Bahama. We'll be back shortly.
Real Talk Live will return right after this.
This KFC curry chicken pot pie is so good. Tastes just like my Grammy on. Flaky crust, big juicy pieces of curry chicken.
KFC Nassau's new curry chicken pot pie. Tender pieces of the world's best chicken. Diced potato, carrots, and green peas in a creamy curry sauce covered in a flaky crust, then baked to golden perfection.
Sweetie, half a dozen KFC pot pies to go.
Grammy?
What? So good, it tastes like more.
KFC Nassau, so good.
Rent a pressure cleaner or generator, just $100 deposit and $49.99 a day. Only at Virgo Car Sales on Fowler Street. Find new or used car parts too. And soon, even more tools you can rent. Virgo Car Sales. Rent a tool, buy a car, or find new or used car parts. Remember, generators and pressure cleaners, only $100 deposit and $49.99 a day. Lowest prices ever. Virgo Car Sales, Fowler Street between Kemp Road and East Bay Street. Phone 393-7901.
Quality and convenience. Premier Clinical Laboratory, located number 121 Collins Avenue, is your partner for good health. We offer a complete range of medical laboratory services, including house calls for sample collection. With our professionally trained technicians, we thrive on our highest quality diagnostic testing for all our patients, as your health is our number one priority. Visit us today or call 325-2030 to make an appointment. Quality and convenience, all at Premier Clinical Laboratory. Testing done right. Island made, locally produced products here in the Bahamas and available for purchase. For more information about our products, give us a call at 362-1102 or 362-1113. Island Made, located in the Bacardi plant, encourages you to buy Bahamian and support local entrepreneurship. Island Made, always the best brands, always the best prices, always the best products, and always Bahamian made. Island Made. Give us a call, 362-1102 or 362-1113.
Sound and lighting for your church or instruments for your band. Audio plus, audio plus. Equipment for your DJ set or audio for your car. Audio plus. For lighting and musical things and more. Come to the bigger and better musical store. Come down to Audio Plus.
Located Soldier Road North, south of the Village Road Roundabout. Phone 394-6668. The musical store that wows you.
Rudy Grant Productions and Down Home Entertainment, in association with Trans Bear, present Down Home Thursdays, a down home party live from the End Zone in the Summer Winds Plaza on Tonique William Darling's Highway. It all starts Thursday, October 9th. Each week, join Mr. Magical, Rudy Grant, and Big L live for Down Home Thursdays, live from the End Zone. It's a rake and scrape, the Bahamian music party featuring live island-style rake and scrape. From the hot bands, what's come? Get your dancing shoes ready, or you can leave them home. That's up to you. Now wait, to kick this party off right, be bringing in Dillon. That's right, you know him. It's your boy, D-Man.
Get ready to wine, cause it's waining time.
Music selection presented by Mr. Magical and DJ Big L. I'll be. Find a party for us to go to. $5 before 10 p.m. and $10 after. Down Home Thursdays, starting Thursday, October 9th. D-Man, Scorchcom, Rake and Scrape, and Sans Bear. Boy, they come in.
You've heard it said, If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But guess what? If your air conditioning ain't cooling, it's broke. Call Cooltech so you can get your AC fixed, man. Cooltech carries every kind of part for your AC you could imagine. Need copper tubing? 3/4, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. They got it at the best price in the Bahamas. Cold. We have grills, filters, condenser fan motors, capacitors, tapes, duct boards, AC collars, AC grill cans, thermostats, belts, flex ducts, orifice tubes, suction and liquid 9 filters, and Armorflex filters. I don't even know what them things is, and I feel cool already. Get your AC fixed, keep your light bill in check, and stop sweating. Call Cooltech today, 341-KOOL. We are located on the service road from Tony William Darling Highway.
What happens next happens here first. Real Talk Live, only on the Bahamas Superstation.
Okay, welcome back to Real Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just emphasize here for the record that we're not discussing any aspects of politics today. We are concentrating on economic development and the way forward for Grand Bahama generally and Freeport in particular. Senator Malcolm is the president of the chamber down there, so he would have been an F&M senator, but we are not discussing politics today. Now, tomorrow, I expect to have Attorney Fred Smith, a Queen's Counsel and a very vocal and civil activist and a QC, so we can talk about anything tomorrow, including the environment and including politics, including current events. This morning, I am begging my listening audience and those who will call to please let's concentrate on business, entrepreneurship, economic development, and the way forward for the country generally and Grand Bahama in particular. Senator, I see here an extensive outline, and I'll read them. I'll read one or two. Let me read one, and perhaps you can respond along with Dillon to each one as I would read them. Our telephone lines are open if you want to talk about what's happening in the economy, especially the Grand Bahama economy. Feel free to call us at 341-6673. We also invite you to reflect and give us your reflections on entrepreneurship and why people or individuals should, in fact, become self-employed. Everybody may not want a job. Many persons need not have a job. Work for yourself. Okay, first point I want to put to Senator and Dillon. May I call you Dillon?
Sure, absolutely.
You know, you call me Ortland, man. I just think Mr. Bodie and Mr. Grant, you know, that has its place. But not this morning. I feel comfortable with you young men. Very, very comfortable. Okay, no developing nation, Senator, has prospered in the last half decade without the singular focus on developing an export industry supported by free trade zones, including communist China. Tell us, flesh it out for me, Barry.
Very, very true. Very true. And also, if you put it in the Freeport context, and I'll have Dillon comment in more detail in a second, the Freeport model. The Freeport model is one that was put together back in 1955. Back in 1955.
1955.
The then developers of the Bahamian economy said, "Look, we're gonna focus on 3 areas for development of our country: tourism, and we're gonna make investments in tourism from what they did on the casino side, or all the way through to supporting development of hotels in Nassau and elsewhere. We're gonna focus on financial services." Banking, and we're going to focus on international trade and industrial services. Well, the first two pillars were set up to function in Nassau, and in the case of tourism, to some extent in the Family Islands as well. The international trade and industry sector was set up to run in Freeport. That was the whole purpose of giving the concession for Freeport's development as a huge industrial center with the big harbor, etc. That basic mandate eventually passed into law. Said, look, go north into Freeport and make it an industrial center that can compete with the world. But to do that, you've got to have the same kind of standards in terms of performance, the same kind of openness in terms of opportunity that you will find elsewhere in the world. Freeport was one of the first. Freeport's mandate happened before Singapore, before Panama, before Dubai, before all these countries around the world who have since opened their own international trade center. We were the first. But despite that, we're lagging behind, and because we haven't sustained the national commitment to driving Freeport as an economic center, driving Freeport as an industrial center, the same way we drive Nassau, for example, as a tourism center, or Nassau as a financial center. The same kind of effort that we put into Nassau for those two sectors, we need to, as a matter of national policy and as a matter of national focus, we need to put into the development of Freeport. If we do it right, Freeport can be a huge driver, not just for Grand Bahama, but more importantly for the economy of the country as a whole. One of the three critical pillars for of our national economy. Dillon?
Yeah, to speak specifically to your point about developing nations and the need for a singular focus on export industry, if you go back to the mid-1960s, the gross national income per capita of the Bahamas was $1,900. If you look at the 10 South and Eastern Asian countries, those include Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, China, Japan, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and India. The gross national income per capita for those countries range from $70 in Indonesia to a high of $890 in Japan.
This is per month?
This is their gross national income per capita.
Okay.
In 1965. So the Bahamas had a gross national income per capita double that of the highest one of the Asian countries. Fast forward to 2012, which is the last year that I have full economic information. The gross national income per capita of the Bahamas has grown by 1,000% to just over $20,000 per capita. However, 5 of the 10 Asian countries that I just listed have now surpassed the Bahamas and have gross national incomes per capita ranging from $51,000 for Singapore down to $36,000 for Hong Kong. Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and India are still below the Bahamas, but their growth rate over the same period of time has been 5 or 6 times that of the Bahamas. The growth rate of the Asian companies that have surpassed the Bahamas in terms of gross national income per capita has been as high as 18 times that of the Bahamas.
So what has gone wrong with us?
We have deviated from the model. We have set out, as Barry said earlier, to create this economic zone in the country, but we have not supported the economic zone over successive administrations in the last 50 or 60 years. And so other countries who have focused their entire resource, their entire human capital on developing export industries that brings in hard currency and creates the environment that lifts all the residents of the country. Those countries have been dedicated to this particular approach and it has paid dividend for them. But we have vacillated in our approach to it. We have, over the years, developed a protectionist approach to our economy. I like to say that we have a scarcity mentality. We don't believe that we could create a 12-inch pizza, so we all busy trying to fight to keep the 4-inch pizza to ourselves.
Mother sick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it straight from one of the horse's mouth, so to speak. And as a trained economist myself, I've always wondered what had gone wrong in the Freeport trade, the Freeport area. Because as Barry would have said, back in 1950, when many of us were not even around yet, we had the engine, the model which the rest of the world will have adopted, and we right here fighting. When it's not about politics, it's about who got what and who ain't got nothing. And we have a gold mine already laid out in Freeport. We just have not gotten the tools to go and start mining the gold. Barry?
You know, Ms. Ortland, there's a view that whatever you do in Freeport is for them people up there in the North Bahamas who want something for nothing, and that's not the reality at all. If you look at Freeport and Freeport's economy, firstly, it should be appreciated that almost 90% of the investors in Freeport are Bahamians with businesses. Yes, you've got some companies like Borco and Pharmachem and the shipyard that are large industrial operations and very good ones, I might add. But the majority of the people with skin in the game in Freeport are Bahamian investors, people who've left Nassau, left other family houses and said, look, we're going to put our stake in the ground here and try and make it. Now bear in mind, in Freeport, I pay the same customs duties, the same taxes as someone in Nassau. The only difference is that when it comes to industrial investment or large economic investment, there are certain concessions that I can get for capital goods, for example. But if you look at the country as a whole, they're the same basic concessions as I can also get if I'm a hotel under the Hotel Encouragement Act here in Nassau or elsewhere, or under the Industry Encouragement Act. Freeport has just codified it under the HCA for businesses that want to invest on a large scale in the city of Freeport. But fundamentally, the beauty of that is that if you look at the rest of the world, Freeport then within the Bahamas becomes a center where you can have particular kinds of industrial investments that are competitive on a world basis. That's the whole story. That's the whole idea. And if Freeport is allowed to grow, if Freeport is allowed to develop in this way as it was intended, the benefits come to the entire country. Right now, by rough estimates, the net we estimate that the net contribution tax-wise by Freeport to the coffers of the country as a whole, to the Treasury, is around about $100 million here. That's our estimate. But that's a drop in the bucket to what it could and should be if Freeport were operating as an international business center the way Panama is, or even the way Cayman is right now, because we have the infrastructure. I mean, we talk about hotels here in Nassau, and we have some beautiful hotels in development and in operation. But if you look at the industrial infrastructure of Freeport, the hard skin in the game, concrete on the ground, steel in the ground. When you look at the Borcos, the Pharmachems, the shipyard, etc., polymers, you're talking about industrial investment north of $6 billion.
$6 billion
over the last 40 years. It's there. It hasn't gone even. You can't take tanks from Freeport back to the U.S. They're there. Our point is, we have this massive infrastructure in the country. Let's leverage it and let Freeport function as it was intended to, as an international trade zone.
Well, you think, Senator and Dillon, both you can respond. 341-6673 if you wish to call in. 1-242-300-6673. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, we are not speaking any aspects of politics today at all. Tomorrow you'll have your opportunity. But Senator and Dillon, to get Freeport moving, what are you all suggesting? You suggesting that the Grand Bahama Port Authority or the government of the day, without getting into the politics of their initiatives, what do we need to do to get Freeport back to where it would have been referred to as the Magic City? And I remember back in the 70s and 80s, Freeport was, everybody wanted to get down there. It was dynamic. The nightlife was fantastic. The biking sector was huge. What do we need to do?
Ortland, I think that we have some fundamental disconnects as it relates to an approach to an enclave like Freeport. If you were to compare Freeport to China, as an example, if you compare the Bahamas to China is a communist nation. They make no bones about that. But China understood the need to engage in international trade. China set up multiple free trade zones in the nation of China that operate on a purely capitalistic basis with free movement of, as I said earlier, free movement of capital, free movement of human capital, financial capital, and intellectual property. And we all know the result of that is China is now the manufacturer of the world.
And China has billionaires owning us. And they don't just own us, they own a big chunk of America. And they say, well, they profess to be communists, but they have billionaires in China, billionaires in Hong Kong, billionaires in Singapore, where they have an authoritarian type government. And here in the Bahamas, we say we have a democracy, and 90%, 80% of the people ain't got nothing. Yeah. Call on the line quickly. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to all. Roundtable.
Roundtable.
Yeah, but I got to stay focused on your topic.
You got to do what?
I stay focused on your topic, correct?
I would prefer that you did.
But since you mentioned China, before I ask this question, no, let me ask. The gentleman spoke about the pizza, 4-something pizza, 4-inch pizza. Man, look, I want to hear that again, please, and I want to record that while I hear that again, please.
Go ahead, anybody, 4-inch pizza.
The comment was that we really have a scarcity mentality. We do not believe that we could create a 12-inch pizza. And so rather than embrace the opportunity to create that by engaging with others, we are involved and competing to get our slice of a 4-inch pizza.
My geez, Lord of mercy. Bodie, you hear that?
I heard that, and it's really astounding.
But what it says is that your friends in Parliament who are very close to you really have no vision.
Well, the political directorate historically in this country have been run mostly by lawyers and not business people. And that is part of the problem.
Well, that sounds like the bigger problem than part.
Well, lawyers don't generate wealth except what they make from their clients ordinarily.
And what they could force you to create so that you create jobs for them. And then you become one of their clients because you're going to jail.
Well.
Mr. Bodie, I appreciate what you're doing with your talk show. I really enjoy listening to you, and you're bringing on some very innovative, brand new, fresh, I can't say fresh breeze, right?
You can say fresh breeze, man. That ain't no politics. But you see, this is what we're going to be doing as we go forward. You know, the politics and social comments have a point and a part to play. But we really need more people like these gentlemen here and others to flesh out what we need to do to get this economy out of the doldrums. But continue to listen, and I assure you that you will enjoy the rest of the show. We got to go to a commercial break. We'll be back. Thank you, too. We'll be back in short order. You can call us at 341-6673, 124-2300-6673. We are accessible by cable 950 here in New Providence and in Grand Bahama, and channel 967 to the rest of the family violence. We'll be back shortly.
More Real Talk Live right after this on the Bahamas Superstation.
When you hear Tom Mays, you think of a Bahamian icon, a name that's been synonymous with quality prescriptive services and pharmaceuticals for decades. Tom Mays Pharmacy is back in its original location on Prince Charles Drive and College Gardens. Visit them today and get premium service and over-the-counter essentials you can trust. Tom Mays Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturdays, 8 to 6 on Prince Charles Drive and College Gardens. Telephone 324-3262.
Quality and convenience. Premier Clinical Laboratory, located number 121 Collins Avenue, is your partner for good health. We offer a complete range of medical laboratory services, including house calls for sample collection. With our professionally trained technicians, we thrive on our highest quality diagnostic testing for all our patients, as your health is our number one priority. Visit us today or call 325-2030 to make an appointment. Quality and convenience, all at Premier Clinical Laboratory. Testing done right. Island Windshield, your one-stop shop for all models, including American and Japanese vehicles. With trained technicians, we supply and specialize in windshields, door, back, and quarter glass sales and installations. We're located off Wolf Road, opposite AID, and now in Carmichael Road with guaranteed low prices, free roadside service, delivery to the boat, and insurance estimates no one can beat. Our prices are tried and proven, and for the stylish, we've also added window tinting. Call or visit us today at 394-8018, and now on Carmichael Road at 341-4120. Island Windshield, where customer service is their number one priority.
Rent a pressure cleaner or generator, just $100 deposit and $49.99 a day. Only at Virgo Car Sales on Fowler Street. Find new or used car parts too. And soon, even more tools you can rent. Virgo Car Sales. Rent a tool, buy a car, or find new or used car parts. Remember, generators and pressure cleaners only $100 deposit and $49.99 a day. Lowest prices ever. Virgo Car Sales, Fowler Street between Kemp Road and East Bay Street. Phone 393-7901.
Summer is sizzling at Burger King Nassau with 2 new delicious mushroom and Swiss burgers you'll love. For Whopper lovers, try the new mushroom and Swiss bacon Whopper that has all the fixins, plus a 1/4 pound of fire-grilled beef, topped with savory sautéed mushrooms, bacon, and Swiss cheese on a sesame seed bun. Or try the mushroom and Swiss Big King, available in a combo or as part of the 2 for $7 menu. Summer sizzles with mushroom and Swiss burgers at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Come on in, you psycho.
Cable guy!
Cable guy, off the chain, y'all. Man, I never watch more TV in my life. Stars, Movie Channel, Cinemax, HBO, and Disney. I watch more church, I soon get ready to preach. And this football package is crazy. Oh man, just call the cable guy. 544-8068. Just imagine, $2 a day and movies and sports for days.
Cable guy!
544-8068.
Attention to all civil servants not presently members of the Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Bring your lump sum into Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited in Nassau or Freeport. Deposit between $250 and $1,000 and you can be approved for double that amount pending the reception of proper identification, current job letter, most recent salary slip, NIB card, one-time membership fee of $10, and an approved salary deduction form. That's right, civil servants. A loan approved within 24 hours. This offer is for a limited time only. Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Telephone 323-6594 or 351-7129.
The show where we discuss the issues and change your consciousness. Real Talk Live on the Bahamas Superstation.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why. Maybe it's because we're talking about the entrepreneurship and the economy. Someone has sent me a little change. I want to say thanks very, very much. I think that came from a lady who I know as Sharo. She's a big-time drywall contractor, subcontractor at the Bahama project. So she must have felt I needed some lunch today. But Sharo, I don't want lunch. I want some dinner. And I want it real soon. Call her on the line, 341-6673. Talking to Brother Dillon here. And, of course, my good friend of many years standing, a man who says he went to the big red machine and ain't learned nothing up there. Sound just like Jeff Lloyd and Fred Mitchell. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Bodie.
My brother.
How are you?
Man, listen, I am so happy to be a Bahamian, and I'm so proud and privileged to be in the presence of 2 young Bahamian entrepreneurs, par excellent.
And good morning to your guests.
Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Bodie, may you are far family, but I'm not going to tell you my name today because I told you it before. What those 2 gentlemen are saying are real true. I went to Freeport in 1962 or 63. I leave Freeport in 1977. I was there to help build the cement factory before it even came. And build all those houses which you see vacant in Freeport. Majority of them, because most of them end up with Jamaicans taking all the fridge and the TVs and the rugs because they had them all inside them. And they take them out. But Mr. Bodie, I think it's your colleagues who destroyed Freeport.
My colleagues?
Yeah, well, some of them would I overhearing you talking about you want to join.
You mean the PLPs?
The PLPs.
Well, you know, don't forget back in the days, Lyndon, God rest his soul, there was a social disconnect in terms of social relationships. And he did make a speech which was very traumatic and in some ways destructive, which brought Freeport economies to its knees.
Yes, it did.
Bend or break.
That's the one what you say, you can't cut bait, get the hell out of the boat.
Well, more or less.
And those people got out of the boat. And not only that too, Mr. Bodie. I'm not worried about your you know what I didn't understand, because I'm supposed to call you offline on that. But I'm going to say it right now whilst I got you on the phone. I didn't understand why you gave up your seat with general knowledge in that consistency.
Only God knows.
The people in Freeport really run general knowledge of the Freeport. That's facts.
Well, you know what happened? What happened was that I had a lock on this in Agnes constituency, as it was then called.
Right.
So Lyndon called me to the Churchill building where the seat of government was then located, and said, Ortland, I need you to stand down because we want to bring Kendall back to New Providence, and we will appoint you to the Senate. And in addition, the $900,000 that you would have spent campaigning throughout the area for the past several years, that Kendall and the government would have given me back some of that money. I never got the money, and I never got the Senate seat.
Anyway, I always say, I wonder why you did that. Because I know one thing. Your daddy wouldn't have did that.
No. Well, listen, God bless you, and you can always call me off here. One of my bubblers at 423.
I got your number.
Well, call me later today. Let's dialogue, eh?
All right.
God bless you.
Bless you too.
Okay, Senator, we do remember that there was a speech given by Sir Lyndon, and we don't want to get into the politics of it. It may be that speech had to have been given at the time. I don't know. But at the opening of a major business in Grand Bahama, the Bahamas Oil Refinery, BOCO, that's when the Prime Minister, or the Premier at that time, Sir Lyndon, gave his bend or break speech, which sounded good, but which, as a result, had some disastrous consequences.
Well, you know, at the time, there were a number of social dislocations, I'll call them, social wrongs that existed in Freeport that really had to be corrected and had to be addressed. And I think the addressing of those socials, while it was very necessary, didn't have to come at the expense of driving out confidence in Freeport as a place in which to do business. I go back to the thought and to the idea of Freeport being an international business center. One of the key ingredients for functioning as such is investor confidence, whether the investors are local Bahamian investors or international investors. One has to maintain a certain environment, which the ease of doing business, the comfort of doing business, the surety that my investment and my access to running and developing and growing my business to compete internationally is not going to be impeded or impacted by either an absence of transparency in how I'm going to be regulated, or an interference of politics, or the impact of forces other than the normal market forces that would ordinarily affect my business. That's the world that we have the capacity to create in Freeport, even now, even though we've lost so many years. The Chamber of Commerce developed a set of recommendations which we've submitted to the Bahamas government. We formally submitted those last Friday on the future of Freeport. And in that paper, we made the point that, you know, what has happened in the past, for whatever reason, has already happened. We can learn from it. It can be instructive, but it has happened. Well, we feel that the focus now, absent politics, has to be on what are the best strategy choices for the country in respect of Freeport's development. And we feel that if you look at the long-term and sustained growth of the Bahamian economy, a very strong strategy choice for the country is to let Freeport function as an international trade center. Let Freeport function in a way where the ease of doing business, the openness to doing business, the invitation for international and Bahamian entrepreneurs and businesses to invest and grow their businesses with a minimum of external interference from the regulators and all the policymakers is the way to go. We have the opportunity to do it now, and if we miss the opportunity, Freeport will suffer immensely. No two ways about that. Grand Bahama will suffer immensely, but so will the overall economy of the country, because we will have failed to achieve real economic growth that is within our grasp. It's so close we can taste it, but it takes some clear, hard, focused policy decisions by the government of the Bahamas, the Port Authority, with the support of the licensees in Freeport, whom we represent, to cause the strategy to be put in place.
Well, President Malcolm, you gave some remarks the other day at a function, just after the Chamber had a function And I'm quoting the story by Neil Hartnell in the Tribune Business for this morning. He's the Tribune Business editor. And ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you to get a copy of the Tribune for the day. I'm not promoting the sales of the Tribune, but obviously there's some good stuff in the business section. And Senator Malcolm is quoted as saying, he added that the combined investment in Freeport by its top 10 industrial companies was staggering, exceeding that of Atlantis and Bahama. I guess that's combined. Yet the Bahamas had failed to focus on developing the sector of its economy. And before I get to Dillon, let me let you piggyback on that comment. If the 10 industrial companies in Grand Bahama have generated or could generate more revenue than Atlantis and Bahama combined, as Barry would have said, shouldn't we release Freeport and let it go? I mean, you keep your oversight to make sure it doesn't run amok. But shouldn't we just liberalize and let it be what it is supposed to be?
Ortland, there's an interesting phenomenon in this country where we believe that anybody coming to the country somehow takes away from what we have. The economy of Freeport is built around, as Barry alluded to earlier, the investment of these big industrial companies who are focused on export. That export industry has developed a city that, by the way, at no cost to the public treasury.
That's amazing. No cost at all.
Yeah, has developed a city that is large enough to maintain, physically support a population of 300,000.
What? The entire country?
The whole country could fit in the Freeport.
Right now, comfortably?
Right now, comfortably. Okay?
Roads,
the city has, that industry has created an environment which currently supports a residential population of Grand Bahama of approximately 50,000 people. That population contributes to the Bahamas government to the tune of $100 million a year net. That is, after the government takes out what it spends on Grand Bahama from what it receives from Grand Bahama, it has a net gain of $100 million.
Dillon, tell me you had some coconut water this morning before you came here. Tell me that you're talking out of your head.
Mr. Bodie,
$100 million surplus in profits from Grand Bahama alone?
This has been the case.
Or Freeport?
This has been the case for decades.
I wonder, Mr. Grant, you from Grand Bahama. I wonder what these people do with this money. $100 million per year for decades, and we say we are in a deficit. We say that the country owes over some billions, a couple of billions. Nobody seems to know the exact figure. So Dillon, go on, tell me some more.
Yeah, so, from our perspective, if the city could support 300,000 people, but just 50,000 people is generating 100 million net revenue to the government, then if we liberalize the city, allow it to grow strategically, of course you want to bring in people who are focused on export industries and not bring in people who are going to engage in the domestic market. But if you could strategically expand the city over time to 300,000 people, you could envisage that the net revenue from Freeport to the Bahamas Treasury could be north of $500 million. Now, to put that in perspective, the current revenue addition program called VAT is intended on a national level to produce $300 million. Mm-hmm. So if Freeport alone could produce $500 million for the public treasury with no additional cost to the public treasury, because that cost has already been sunk by the investors in Freeport, and the city is maintained by the people of Freeport. This is a no-brainer to me.
Well, not only is it a no-brainer, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who follow in economics and who just follow in common sense, the annual deficit of some 500 million would be eliminated
over time.
I mean, we have a call on line, Mr. Belusa. Let's take the call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Boy, I can't complain, but nothing. How about you?
I'm in good shape, but I'm listening to somebody out of Freeport that I know. And also I'm listening to the story of Freeport where I'm from, and I grew up in it. And it doesn't sound prudent to my knowledge of Freeport, of what they're saying and asking for. In fact, I'd like to ask Barry concerning the proposal that they say they are sending to government with the must hands off, and or are they willing to extend the old agreement that Freeport had? Am I able to talk to him?
Yes, of course, he's listening.
Go ahead,
man.
All right. What type of agreement are you proposing to government that they may have hands off on Freeport with no regulation?
We're not saying no regulations. What we are suggesting is to let Freeport function the way a Panama functions, the way a Singapore functions. What do I mean by that? If you take Panama as an example, 10 years ago, Panama decided, look, we're going to open up our economy to the world.
A trade zone.
A trade zone. We want to be in a position in which we become the center for major industries, major companies that want to locate into Latin America. You want to go to Latin America? Fine. Come and set up your presence in Panama, and from Panama you can do all the wonderful things you want to do further south in the other countries of the region.
Could I inject right there, Barry, for a second?
Sure.
Panama have a trade zone, a separate and apart trade zone that I have visited as well. You have to have a special pass to get into that trade zone. It's not part of the economy.
Oh, it's fundamentally a part of the economy. The separation that you speak of has to do largely with quarantine and management of movement of goods through there, which we have in Freeport. I mean, we have a container port which is quarantined as a special area, but through which we move right now a million TEUs, a million containers of goods every year. The point is that. We're not recommending that Freeport be a lawless town with no laws. That would be ridiculous. What we're suggesting is that
you did make a statement about hands off, and that sort of bothered me completely.
Let me explain what I mean by hands off. What I'm suggesting is that we as has been done in places like Panama, you let Freeport function in a manner in which investors can come in and make their investments with a minimum of restrictions on their operations. That doesn't mean that they don't operate under Bahamian law, but it means that they have the latitude to compete against their counterparts elsewhere in the world, as do the same companies in Panama or elsewhere. It's all about the ease of being able to conduct your business.
Okay, Senator Barry, just a quick second. I don't mean to interrupt you, and I apologize. Whenever you had a little music, we have to go to a break. Okay, caller, don't you dare go away, right? Stay on the line for me.
Okay.
I will ask you to continue on our way back from the break. Thank you so very much.
This is Bob.
Real Talk Live will return right after this.
I don't know what's wrong with some of these bus drivers. What happened? I going to Superwash like I does every Saturday, and today he wouldn't let me bring my clothes on the bus. I never know that to happen. How much clothes you was bringing? See, that's the same thing. What difference it make how much clothes I got? Well, you was holding them in your lap. How you expect for me to hold 6 pillowcase of clothes in my lap? So you had them in the seat next to you, eh? No, I leave them to the front of the bus and I go and sit in the back. Of course I had them in the seat next to me. So you pay for the extra seat? Them clothes ain't living. They is things. You don't pay for things to sit in the seat. Well, nobody else could have sit there. How anybody else could have sit in the seat? Ain't I just tell you I had my clothes in the seat? So the bus driver couldn't sell that seat, right? Oh, gosh, I get you drifted. Okay, I shouldn't take bread out of the man mouth so my clothes could ride with me. Uh-huh. You know, the regular them want your business, but they don't want you inconveniencing nobody to get there. Superwash. They washes your presses, it cleans you 24/7.
Are you searching for a better medium-term investment opportunity? Look no further than your Bank of Solutions. BOB's Rate Escalator is here. Finally, a fixed deposit that gives you more. Deposit a minimum of $50,000 for 3 years at high interest. With Rate Escalator, your interest will increase in the second and third years, providing better yields than ordinary term deposits. Don't miss this great opportunity. Step up to BOB's Rate Escalator and watch your money grow. BOB, your Bank of Solutions.
KFC Nassau's value deals have all your favorites, starting at $2.99. Try a one-piece chicken and biscuit, our spicy zing sandwich, or our 6-piece spicy bites. Try our famous bowl with bites, famous rice bowl with bites, 4 spicy or spicy barbecue wings. Add a small fries and a 16-ounce drink. Value deals, real meals, perfect price. Only at KFC. So good.
Sounds like a truly Bahamian beer. Hey, too much drinking. Lucha drinking. Long Island drinking. I'm just drinking. Nassau drinking. Hey, Cat Island drinking. From Bahama drinking. Harbor Cold drinking. A taste that is fresh.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Stores or your favorite restaurants and liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
Island Made. Locally produced products here in the Bahamas and available for purchase. For more information about our products, give us a call at 362-1102 or 362-1113. Island Made, located in the Bacardi Grand, encourages you to buy Bahamian and support local entrepreneurship. Island Made, always the best brands, always the best prices, always the best products, and always Bahamian made. Island Made. Give us a call, 362-1102 or 362-1113.
You've heard it said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But guess what? If your air conditioning ain't cooling, it broke. Call Cooltech so you can get your AC fixed, man. Cooltech carries every kind of part for your AC you could imagine. Need copper tubing? 3/4, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. They got it at the best price in the Bahamas. Cold. We have grills, filters, condenser fan motors, capacitors, tapes, duct boards, AC collars, AC grill cans, thermostats, belts, flex ducts, orifice tubes, suction and liquid line filters, and Armaflex filters. I don't even know what them things is, and I feel cool already. Get your AC fixed, keep your light bill in check, and stop sweating. Call Cooltech today, 341-KOOL. We are located on the service road from Tony William Darling Highway.
Sound and lighting for your church or instruments for your band. Audio plus, audio plus. Equipment for your DJ set or audio for your car. Audio for lighting and musical things and more. Come to the bigger and better musical store. Come down to Audio Plus.
Located Soldier Road North, south of the Village Road Roundabout. Phone 394-6668. The musical store that wows you.
Email your thoughts, questions, or comments to realtalk@more94fm.com or call 341-MORE in New Providence, 1-242-300-MORE, toll free from the rest of the Bahamas. Right now on the Bahamas Superstation.
Welcome back to Real Talk Live. Caller, continue your contribution for me, please. Go ahead.
Yes, I was listening and going over what I've heard. Are we asking the government of the Bahamas to make agreement with foreigners for the sake of foreigners or for the good of the Bahamian people? It is okay to acknowledge that a foreigner could make plenty of money by running through the Bahamas or running business through the Bahamas. But what it is for the Bahamian people, we do know that the bend and break speech that Dillon made was concerning workers in Grand Bahama, workers in Freeport, and for that fact, workers throughout the Bahamas. And it seems at that time the workers of the Bahamas had no principles in Freeport. It was all whatever the investor wants to do and how he wants to do it. So what kind of agreement are we proposing? That the government should extend agreement in Freeport, because of course we know that Freeport have this duty-free and and tax exemption and all that. Are we willing to go through that whole scenario again without better regulation? I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm saying we should have some sort of confidential and better agreement and regulation that go on in Freeport that the Bahamian people, the Bahamian public, gets the best out of it.
All right, I'll allow both of them. Thank you so much. Both Barry and yourself, Dillon, can respond.
Okay, caller, let me say, first of all, and the Chamber's recommendations are not recommendations for, to use your words, an agreement for foreigners. Very fundamentally, what we are recommending is an agreement for the development of the economy of the Bahamas, letting Freeport do what it was intended to do, which is be an international trade zone. If you look at how the world has changed over the last, and this is why places like Singapore and others have not only caught up but surpassed us. If you look at how international trade functions, and it doesn't matter whether it's Borco coming in to move oil around the world, or the Numbers boys moving to take their operations into Africa. The basic reality is that persons who are investors look to markets around the world where they can make money, trade their services, trade their goods, and they look to jurisdictions from which they can operate effectively, not being impeded by governments or by regulators, operate where the rules of engagement are clear, but the ease of doing business is also very strong. That's the point. And I don't for a moment believe that all the smarts in the world for making money and making business work rests with foreigners. I feel very strongly that, and I mentioned earlier, the investors in Freeport, 88% of them are Bahamian. 80% to 12% are foreigners. You open up the economy of Freeport to be able to compete effectively with countries around the world, and particularly around the region, and you effectively open up the economy of the Bahamas for Bahamians to compete around the world.
What you also do, Barry and Dillon, is you create employment opportunities and entrepreneurship opportunities for Bahamians.
On a huge scale.
So the foreigners might make their money, as they should, but the trickle-down effect or trickle-off effect will boost the economy tremendously, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Dillon?
When you look at the domestic economy, we talked a little earlier about maximizing the population of Freeport. Ortland, if we added 250,000 people to Freeport tomorrow, we effectively have doubled the domestic market of the Bahamas. Not just the domestic market of Freeport, but the domestic market of the Bahamas for entrepreneurs in the Bahamas to take advantage of.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Dillon would have referred to quite succinctly, the 4-inch pizza. Listen, man, we need what do you call it when you increase the size, or if you go to Burger King and you supersize. We need to supersize this little pizza, man.
Absolutely.
A 4-inch pizza, ladies and gentlemen, cannot sustain us any further.
Happening, right?
No, there's nothing happening. And a 4-inch pizza, you can't even get your pepperoni and sausage. Get a supersized pizza, you got everything on it, so everybody benefits. Everybody gets something. Call on the line, Barry.
Mr. Bodie, I just want to say, I like your image. We need to supersize the opportunities in the economy of the country, and one way to do that is to let Freeport grow. Yes, you'll get foreign investors coming in, but look, it's not a zero-sum game. What we have to do is make sure our strategy is such that investors who come in are coming in to do international trade. It's stuff that is not happening here right now. If they don't do it from the Bahamas, they can do it from Panama, they can do it from Cayman, they can do it from elsewhere. We might as well use the platform we have in the Bahamas now to have them come in and invest.
Well, call on the line. Good morning. Are you there?
Ortland.
Yeah. Yeah, Graham, let's talk.
Ortland H. Bodie Jr., man. You got ETC credit. It takes a couple seconds to kick in. Say good morning to you and the nation at large and your guests.
Good morning.
You have your radio on, Graham?
No, sir. Let me explain how Freeport model works. Thank God for Pop Simonet and the vision he had, along with the other great leaders at the time who did good and then maybe did bad. If we didn't have Pop and Stafford, we would have had 30,000 more people in New Providence.
Absolutely.
But we've never embraced Freeport, the capital of the Bahamas, in my opinion. But let me tell you what Freeport is like. It's like a car doing 100 miles an hour down the road on the Queens Highway. At the wheel is the port. Sitting in the passenger seat is whatever political party is in power. Right now it's the PLP. They both have their hands on the wheel, pulling and yanking in their own directions, while navigating through the rear view mirror. In the back seat is the good people of Freeport, screaming. And I think that gives you kind of a good example of what's happening over there. The vision died with the men who created it, and no one knew how to carry it on. We went over there, and there were Bahamians that left New Providence over the hill, and they were making $3,000 a week. I've videotaped these gentlemen. These were black Bahamians, white and Conky Joe Bahamians. $3,000 a week, working 18 hours a day. They had to sleep, but they wished they didn't. They were driving Cadillacs, Mercedes, Jaguars. And along came a man who became a lawyer, went to England, did very well, came over there and said, no, man, you all can't be living better than me because I have education. And he bent or broke it. It's broke, so you enjoy it until you get somebody else with common sense that understands how to negotiate and use and embrace what we have here that makes the Caribbean people jealous of us in the Atlantic Ocean, Ortland, Bodie. Now, Mr. Bodie, I got to go, but tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow, 10 o'clock. See you then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Barry and Dillon, you know, again, we want to leave the politics though, but we do know that over the years, both governments, the PLP and FLMs, would have sought to tweak the model. And it may not have been tweaked in such a way to benefit the economy overall. We're not going to discuss the policy initiatives, and we want to keep out the politics as much as possible. But it is what it is, Barry and Dillon.
Yeah, and you know, Orton, you're right. But you know, the sins of the past are just that, sins of the past, and there's no point in dwelling on that. As I said earlier, they can be instructive and helpful to guide you for the future, but really, from where we sit, particularly as a Chamber of Commerce in Grand Bahama, we're focusing on not the sins of the past, but the opportunity of now and the future. And that's really the why we came on the show today, is to make just there's one point we want to make, is that, look, we have an opportunity now. With the expiration of certain provisions of the Horseback Creek Agreement in less than 10 months, we have the opportunity to move Freeport, and by extension the country's economy, in a direction for the better. We have the opportunity to make some good choices right now that says, look, if we do these kinds of things, we increase the chances that economic opportunity for Bahamians living in Grand Bahama, Bahamians living in Freeport, and as importantly, Bahamians living throughout the entire country, to get, to use Dillon's and your words, a better slice of a supersized pizza rather than a shrinking economy. That's the real message. We have the opportunity to do it, and if we make the right decisions, negotiate the right kind of deal come 2015 for the future of Grand Bahama, the entire country will benefit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to put on my slice of the pizza, my huge slice of the pizza, is some fever grass and some plums. Call on the line. I will have a real Bahamian pizza. Good morning, caller. Are you there? Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm fine. You don't sound too good. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm just relaxing, listening to the show, buddy.
Oh, okay, buddy.
It was nice. But what I'm really calling is, man, me and my friends, we got a company together, man. We're looking for some work. So
you're looking for some work on my radio?
Hold
on a minute, man. Hold on. You can't do it like that. No, we don't operate like that. What you do is you send me a business proposal or outline as to exactly what you do. With all your information, I will put it to my managing director, and he'll have his administrative assistant contact you. But you can't get a free commercial on this show this morning, not just like that.
No, I want a free commercial. You can get your contact, I can get your contact.
No, just bring it down to the radio station and put it in an envelope, address it to my attention, Ortland Bodie Jr., in care of More 94 FM, and I will respond to you immediately. I speak to my people down here, the management.
All right, sir.
God bless you.
God bless you, too.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just emphasize this. We are the People's Station, right? We have the largest listening audience in this country and around the world, bar none. the other talk shows, but this one is the, let me brag, this is the #1 rated. And that was not rated by myself, it's rated by our competition. And also there was a poll done the other day where we have 67% of the listening audience at any given time. And some of them have 2%, 10%, and some ain't got nothing. But if you want to advertise your business or you want to expose your business or the services that you're offering, feel free to send me some hard copy of information. And I'll be more than happy to have our administrative assistant contact you. And where possible, we'll assist you with marketing your business or your services. Call on the line, producer, good morning. Okay, 341-6673. Hey, Dillon, I don't want to talk too much about your antecedents, but you said something during a break recently that you related to the Knowles family. And I remember back in the day, your grandfather had this thing called the, what's that restaurant there on Wolf Road?
Three Cranes.
Three Cranes. And that was a favorite place of my father and myself and others, our business associates, to go on, especially on a Saturday morning. So you a brain box, you one of the Knowleses. Who are your people in the Knowles family?
Ortland, my father was Felix, the late Felix Knowles, who ran the Three Cranes for a while. But before that, he was in road construction mainly.
Yes.
And trucking. And my mother is Iris Dillon Knowles. She is the daughter of Edward Dillon, who was a building contractor back in the day here in Nassau. He would have been responsible for building a lot of the commercial facilities, including the Savoy Theater and the likes back in the 50s and 60s.
Well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time I've met him officially. I may have seen him around, he might have seen me around, I don't know, but it's really an honor and a pleasure because until you talk to people as we need to do and communicate with people, we ain't going nowhere. And I'm so happy that these gentlemen took the time and at their expense to travel to New Providence to address you, the listening audience here in this country and around the world. We want you to please give us a call at 341-6673, 1242 toll free 6673, and we'll take another commercial break, pay a bill or two, and we'll be back.
More Real Talk Live right after this on the Bahamas Superstation.
Rent a pressure cleaner or generator, just $100 deposit and $49.99 a day. Only at Virgo Car Sales on Fowler Street. Find new or used car parts too. And soon, even more tools you can rent. Virgo Car Sales. Rent a tool, buy a car, or find new or used car parts. Remember, generators and pressure cleaners, only $100 deposit and $49.99 a day. Lowest prices ever. Virgo Car Sales, Fowler Street between Kemp Road and East Bay Street. Phone 393-7901.
Quality and convenience. Premier Clinical Laboratory, located number 121 Collins Avenue, is your partner for good health. We offer a complete range of medical laboratory services, including house calls for sample collection. With our professionally trained technicians, we drive on our highest quality diagnostic testing for all our patients, as your health is our #1 priority. Visit us today or call 325-2030 to make an appointment. Quality and convenience, all at Premier Clinical Laboratory. Testing done right.
Summer is sizzling at Burger King Nassau with 2 new delicious mushroom and Swiss burgers you'll love. For Whopper lovers, try the new mushroom and Swiss bacon Whopper that has all the fixins, plus a 1/4 pound of fire-grilled beef, topped with savory sautéed mushrooms, bacon, and Swiss cheese on a sesame seed bun. Or try the mushroom and Swiss Big King, available in a combo or as part of the 2 for $7 menu. Summer sizzles with mushroom and Swiss burgers at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Come on in, you psycho.
Cable guy!
Cable guy, off the chain, y'all. Man, I never watch more TV in my life. Stars, movie channel, Cinemax, HBO, and Disney. I watch more church, I soon get ready to preach. And this football package is crazy. Oh man, just call the cable guy. 544-8068. Just imagine, $2 a day and movies and sports for days.
Cable guy!
544-8068.
If you find yourself in a jam, and you need cash in advance, call Dr. Cash, he'll hook you up. Easy financing, no monthly payments. Call Dr. Cash, cash, cash. Get your money the next day. Cash, cash, cash. Money in a heartbeat. Up to 2,000. Cash on the go. Call Dr. Cat.
For more info, call 323-LOAN.
You've heard it said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, guess what? If your air conditioning ain't cooling, it's broke. Call Cooltech so you can get your AC fixed, man. Cooltech carries every kind of part for your AC you could imagine. Need cop tubing? 3/4, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. They got it at the best price in the Bahamas. Cody, we have grills, filters, condenser fan motors, capacitors, tapes, duct boards, AC collars, AC grill cans, thermostats, belts, flex ducts, orifice tubes, suction and liquid line filters, and Armaflex filters. I don't even know what them things is, and I feel cool already. Get your AC fixed, keep your light bill in check, and stop sweating. Call Cooltech today, 341-KOOL. We are located on the service road from Tony William Darling Highway.
Attention to all civil servants not presently members of the Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Bring your lump sum into Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited in Nassau or Freeport. Deposit between $250 and $1,000 and you could be approved for double that amount pending the reception of proper identification, current job letter, most recent salary slip, NIB card, one-time membership fee of $10, and an approved salary deduction form. That's right, civil servants. A loan approved within 24 hours. This offer is for a limited time only. Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Telephone 323-6594 or 351-7129. Rudy Grant Productions and Down Home Entertainment in association with Sands Bear presents Down Home Thursdays, a down home party live from the end zone in the Summer Winds Plaza. It all goes down starting Thursday, October 9th. Each week, join Mr. Magical, Rudy Grant, and Big L live for Down Home Thursdays, live from the end zone. We'll be kicking off the first party with Dillon. That's right, it's your boy D-Mac live.
Said she promised she gonna marry me.
There'll also be live music from the Scorch Conk Band. It's a Thursday night Down Home Break and Scrape Party. Music by Mr. Magical, Rudy Grant, and DJ Big L. It's only $5 before 10 p.m. and only $10 after. Down Home Thursdays, each and every Thursday, starting October 9th. That's right, D-Mac, Scorch Conk, Break and Scrape, and Sands Beer.
Straight talk, no punches pulled, no holds barred. Real Talk Live right now on the Bahamas Superstation.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this Friday night, this is a short announcement. This Friday night is the epic First Friday at Club Ibiza, Bahama on West Bay Street. Epic First Friday takes place the first Friday of the month, and this Friday, that's the Friday tomorrow. The event organizer will be selecting one lucky patron, who along with a friend will be sent, all expenses paid to Providence. How do you pronounce it, Mr. Grant? Providenciales, love to say. At Turks and Caicos Island next weekend for the One Drop Bam Bam weekend, whatever that is. That's October 10th through 12th. Just be in the club. That's Club Ibiza, Bahama on Friday night. Get yourself registered, and you could be the one to take that trip to Turks and Caicos next weekend for the One Drop Bam Bam, featuring QQ and Rake and Scrape with Stiletto. Also, Epic First Friday is brought to you by Fat Grove East Blast, Hattie Hattie, Heineken, and Ibiza, Bahama, and more 94.9 FM. Dillon, we were talking off here about something, and I suggested to you that persons in this country, a lot of persons, not all, believe that Freeport is sponging or getting a free ride on the backs of other good, reasonable Bahamians, especially us who live here in New Providence.
No, Ortland, this is a very interesting perspective because we hear this all the time. Anytime you talk about the Hawksbill Creek Agreement and its benefits and the potential for extending those benefits, you hear in the marketplace that Freeport wants to continue its free ride. And the reality of it is that Freeport is really and truly in that regard no different than the rest of the Bahamas. The Hawksbill Creek Agreement grants certain concessions to businesses in Freeport to bring in goods for the operations of their business exempt of duty. Now, if you look at the rest of the Bahamas, you will also note that the majority of big investors in the country also have those same benefits under either the Industries Encouragement Act, the Hotel Encouragement Act, and various heads of agreements with the government of the Bahamas. The difference for Freeport is that it, as Barry said earlier, it's codified such that all of the businesses in Freeport benefit from those exemptions. But when you bring it down to the residents of Freeport, the residents of Freeport have no exemptions. The residents of Freeport pay the same taxes to the government of the Bahamas as the residents of Abaco, Mayaguana, Inagua, Long Island, etc. They pay the same taxes as the residents of New Providence, with the exception that the real property tax for the out islands, including Freeport, does not apply to Bahamians. So, you know, when we talked earlier about the net revenue to the government from taxation from Grand Bahama, that revenue is generated because the residents of Grand Bahama, including the residents of Freeport, pay the same taxes as everybody else. The residents get no free ride. The businesses get some exemptions, which are no greater than exemptions that the government on an ad hoc basis gives to other businesses.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. In addition, Freeport, as a standalone entity, generates pure profit or surplus to the government of this country, which goes into the consolidated fund, and you never see it come back out, some $100 million per year.
Yeah, and Bodie, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't also add that Freeport was created at no cost to the government. The infrastructure of Freeport, let me put this in perspective. Freeport Lucaya is 250 square miles. That's twice the size of New Providence Island.
Yeah?
There are 400 miles of paved roads in Freeport and 400 miles of utility infrastructure that supports that. None of that was paid for by the taxpayers of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we need to have a Freeport type situation here in New Providence because we can't seem to get it right. But Barry, the plan that you all put to the government recently, in a nutshell, what is that plan and what is that plan seeking to achieve?
Okay, let me give you a bit of background. I'll have Dillon fill in some of the details. But about a year ago, in discussion with the Ministry for Grand Bahama, we were invited, the Chamber was invited, to put forward its thoughts on what should be the future of Freeport after 2015. We had been working on that very idea for quite some time when we first came in as Chamber President 2 years ago, and so over the last 2 years, we've been working very quietly on putting together a set of recommendations to the Bahamas government on what should happen. And a lot of what is in the recommendations we've kind of touched on in the course of this radio broadcast this morning, positioning Freeport to be able to compete internationally with any other trade zone of this type in the world. There were some core recommendations that we put forward. One was that the basic structure and basic provisions of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement as set up in 1955 really ought to be preserved. Not to get a free ride, but because really that structure is highly competitive in today's market. And in fact, the structure put in place then has caught up with demand and business in the world today. So we really need to keep that basic structure in place. We recommended also that the Grand Bahama Port Authority, that is the entity that was formed, the entity that was formed by the HCA, that entity really function as an independent regulator of Freeport, not as a tool of the current owners of Freeport, and really as a transparent mechanism through which investors, be they Bahamian investors or external investors, can feel confident that there is a transparent set of regulations, and more importantly, very clear and objective management of those regulations for the conduct of business. It all has to do, again, with certainty and ease of doing business. Investors, be they Bahamian or foreign, don't like uncertainty. They don't like the rules to change based on who you are or how much money you got or don't have. They want certainty in making decisions whether to invest or not to invest. And then there were several other provisions that there were 3 or 4 others that are core to our recommendations. I'll have Dillon comment on those.
Yes. Additionally, aside from restating the essence of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement to facilitate a free trade zone, there was the need for the government to develop a supportive set of practices and policies about the administration of the free trade zone. Basically, what we're talking about is rolling back the economic involvement, economic procedures for running and administering the city that were originally enshrined in the HCA. When we're not talking about undoing the social gains that have happened in Freeport over the years, but creating an environment that, as Barry says, creates an ease of doing business, going back to the one-stop shop kind of environment that we had for business in Freeport. The need to then make that administration transparent is obvious for a number of reasons. We have issues today from the perspective of the government of the Bahamas about how the ACA is administered. We have issues today by the people of Grand Bahama about how the ACA is administered. And so we must get to a point where we have a clear set of guidelines and clear execution of those guidelines going forward. If we can create this environment from a regulatory standpoint for business to flourish, that also requires us to be able to engage in the sale of real estate to potential investors for them to be able to do their business. And all of the undeveloped real estate in Freeport today is owned by a joint venture of Port Group Limited, which is the Port Authority's sister company, and Hutchison Whampoa. So another recommendation on the part of the Chamber is that the government has to create or encourage the Hutchison Port Group Limited joint venture to either develop their land or create a mechanism whereby there's some certainty as to how potential investors can acquire portions of that land for development purposes, for the support of their business ventures. Lastly, we believe that the government must support and engage in the civic development of Freeport, including doing what it takes to be able to support small businesses. There needs to be, in particular, a strategic approach by the Bahamas Development Bank towards funding through venture capital small businesses who are going to engage in touristic activities. As we know, tourism is driven by activities, not by edifices, even though we seem to focus on building buildings and not creating activities. The reality of it is, I don't think that any of us ever go on a trip where we say we want to go to the Ritz-Carlton and then try and figure out where that is. We always say that we want to go and experience the following kinds of activities, and then we look to see where there's a Ritz-Carlton that we could go and reside in. But we have this backwards in this country for some reason. And we need to support strategically, not from a commercial standpoint, but strategically, we need to support small businesses who are going to take the cultural and ecological assets of the Bahamas and turn them into attractions that they could offer to the world that attracts individuals to come here on vacation.
So tell me something, Dillon, before we get back to Barry. Are you suggesting that the tourism industry is not really specifically designed or conducive to the Grand Bahamian, to the Freeport economy?
The tourism, I think we have an opportunity to do both industrial development and touristic development. We have wonderful ecological assets in Grand Bahama that we need to take advantage of, but we need to focus on them in that particular light. I don't think that it's a one-size-fits-all approach to tourism that we could engage in Freeport. And over the last 10 or so years, we've had successive administrations take a different approach to tourism in Freeport. At one point, the Grand Bahama Tourism Board was rebranding Grand Bahama as the Grand Life. And then we switched in midstream to rebranding Grand Bahama as Club Grand Bahama, a bargain basement tourist destination. We seem not to know what it is we want to be. We're confusing ourselves and we're confusing the world, and we're not putting our best foot forward because we're not offering the things that Grand Bahama uniquely has to the tourist market.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you all thought that Real Talk Live didn't present a platform to have articulated individuals put their viewpoints across. It couldn't have come better in the form of Dillon and in the form of Barry. We're going to take our final commercial break. You can call us at 341-6673. And I want to let Barry and Dillon know that we have adopted the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce because that's our sister city. And anytime you need exposure on a talk show such as this one, send me anybody from your chamber or anybody who comes, any investor who want to talk, anybody. We're going to take our final commercial break. Rudy Magical Grant, Ortland H. Bodie Jr. Be right back.
Real Talk Live will return right after this.
This KFC curry chicken pot pie is so good. Tastes just like my Grammy on. Flaky crust, big juicy pieces of curry chicken.
KFC Nassau's new curry chicken pot pie. Tender pieces of the world's best chicken. Diced potato, carrots, and green peas in a creamy curry sauce covered in a flaky crust, then baked to golden perfection.
Sweetie, half a dozen KFC pot pies to go.
Grammy?
What? So good, it tastes like more.
KFC Nassau, so good.
I have a real good feeling we gon' have such a good time tonight. Yeah, because the vibe's feeling good and the strong box sitting on ice. Lord, cause we gon' need it when the body cooling down my ear. I need a little strength in my back. I'll take a strong back.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Stores or your favorite restaurants and liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
Strong back. Island Windshield, your one-stop shop for all models, including American and Japanese vehicles. With trained technicians, we supply and specialize in windshields, door, back, and quarter glass sales and installations. We're located off Wolf Road, opposite AID, and now in Carmichael Road with guaranteed low prices, free roadside service, delivery to the boat, and insurance estimates no one can beat. Our prices are tried and proven, and full of stylish. We've also added window tinting. Call or visit us today at 394-8018, and now on Carmichael Road at 341-4120. Island Windshield, where customer service is their #1 priority. Island made, locally produced products here in the Bahamas and available for purchase. For more information about our products, give us a call at 362-1102 or 362-1113. Island Made, located in the Bacardi plant, encourages you to buy Bahamian and support local entrepreneurship. Island Made, always the best brands, always the best prices, always the best products, and always Bahamian made. Island Made. Give us a call, 362-1102 or 362-1113.
Stop by Janae's on Chesapeake Road for uniform skirts, jumpers, shirts, blouses, with or without monograms, PE shorts in assorted colors, neckties, school shoes, bags, underwear, and hair accessories. A large selection of scrubs, Islander workwear, uniforms in 7 colors, and coveralls. Janae's can custom make that unique or perfect uniform. For Family Island schools, look them up at www.janaes.com and place your order, and they will deliver it to the mailboat. Shop at Janae's, Chesapeake Road, or call them at 394-8385 or 6.
Rudy Grant Productions and Down Home Entertainment in association with Sands Bear presents Down Home Thursdays, a Down Home party live from the end zone in the Summer Winds Plaza. It all goes down starting Thursday, October 9th. Each week, join Mr. Magical, Rudy Grant, and Big L live for Down Home Thursdays, live from the end zone. We'll be kicking off the first party with Dillon. That's right, it's your boy D-Mac live.
Said she promised she gonna marry me.
There'll also be live music from the Scorch Conk Band. It's a Thursday night Down Home Break and Straight party. Music by Mr. Magical, Rudy Grant, and DJ Big L. It's only $5 before 10 p.m. and only $10 after. Down Home Thursdays, each and every Thursday starting October 9th. That's right, D-Mac, Scorch Conk, Break and Straight, and Sands Beer.
Sound and lighting for your church or instruments for your band. Audio plus, audio plus. Equipment for your DJ set or audio for your car. Audio for lighting and musical things and more. Come to the bigger and better musical store. Come down to Audio Plus.
Located Soldier Road North, south of the Village Road Roundabout. Phone 394-6668. The musical store that wows you.
Common sense with uncommon sensibility. Real Talk Live.
The Bahamas Superstation.
This is the Bahamas Superstation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to run out of time here. We had a very exciting dialogue with Dillon Knowles and Barry Malcolm. And, of course, you, the listening audience. Again, a special good morning to all of my friends up there in the east. And I'm not going to say fever grass. I'm going to say plumbing. Mr. Grant, you got to catch yourself. 341-6673. You can probably take one additional call if you get us. 341-6673. Barry, Malcolm, and Dillon, I just said to you, gentlemen, that it seemed to me that there are only three ways you can make some real money in this country today. Either you go into politics and hope that the party that you are supporting is elected as the government and that you are appointed as a minister, or you open a church, be a charismatic pastor, or you open a web shop. Barry and Dillon, before we go to before I ask you to answer that question or that position, let me take a call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bodie. How are you doing?
I am fine. How are you today?
I'm great. I can talk to you off here, please.
Yeah, you can call me at 423-0418. That's my number. 423-0418. Those three career paths, Dillon and Barry. What says thou?
I feel that the economy of this country offers enormous opportunities that many of us don't even begin to look at. You know, I've had many blessings from God, and I think one of my greatest blessings has been from a very early age. Even though I've held high-profile positions in various large enterprises, I've always wanted to work for me. I've always wanted to live and work in an environment in which if I don't put in 16 hours a day for me, I don't get to eat. I like that. I like working for myself, and I feel that this country offers enormous opportunities, particularly now, when you look at how the world has changed over the last 15, 20 years. If you've got the right ideas, if you've got the capacity to work, the world is such now that you can take your ideas and you can channel them and market them and present them to any market in the world. If you choose to do so. So the opportunities that are open to us here in this country are the same that are open to our counterparts in a larger economy, say like the U.S. We have the opportunity within the Bahamas to build great things, to build great enterprises, to own great enterprises. It takes imagination, hard work, some guts, and I go back to hard work again, a lot of work. But the opportunities are there, and I think the opportunities in the country expand well beyond the three you mentioned. And I'm seeing it in my line of work now, where we support.
What do you in fact do basically? Besides being the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Grand Bahama.
No, my company has for many years now worked in working with entrepreneurs, working with small businesses who want to develop enterprises in the country. We sometimes take positions. We sometimes just provide advice. Never for free. I believe if I provide the service, I'm going to be paid for it. But more importantly, we engage with young entrepreneurs in the country who've got great ideas, helping them to find money, helping them to bring their ideas to market, and most importantly, helping them to understand that if their idea is a good one, the value of that idea extends beyond the Bahamas market into the Caribbean and the rest of the world. The opportunities.
So you're really a business consultant.
And I take positions in the businesses. If it makes sense to advise you to go on a particular course of action in terms of developing your business, then it should make sense for me to invest in it as well.
Well, that sounds good because I want you to invest in a number of businesses, not mine though. But ladies and gentlemen, business consultancy, and you know, a lot of you are there talking about you can't find employment. All of us have a skill or a talent. You have to sit small or sit tiny. Tiny is the word I wanted to use, and develop and nurture the talent that you have, that God gave you, or that you can acquire by training or by, as Dillon would have done, going back to school over in the Southeastern University. What's that thing called?
Heisinger's School of Business at Nova Southeastern.
And he was one of the founders of a couple car rental companies in the United States back in the day. He was a wealthy businessman out of Florida.
He is a wealthy businessman in Florida.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
My God, and ladies and gentlemen, he started with almost nothing. And you know, you don't really need government largesse to make nothing. Government contracts, they're important in his own place. But you know, some of them come with strings. And those strings could be lifelong and very long. Dillon, go ahead.
Ortland, I think that just to piggyback on what Barry's response was to you, we look within the Bahamas for opportunities. But, you know, in reality, we really have been trained to be tadpoles.
To be what?
Tadpoles.
I mean, not even the big frogs?
No.
The small ones?
Tadpoles. We are trained to swim around in a little pool of water and hope that it rain every now and then so that we could continue to survive. But none of us have been trained to turn into frogs, jump out of the pond, out of the pool, and jump into somebody's big swimming pool where we could actually survive for a long period of time. We are focused on our domestic market, sometimes constrained by policies, but we are focused on our domestic market. We are happy to bring in foreign investment into our market, but we are not prepared to go and invest in somebody else's market where there is real money to be made.
Well, you know, Dillon, that's interesting because, like you would have said, we seem to have this parochial type view. The other day, there was some talk about some investors from the People's Republic of China taking over the development of downtown here in New Providence. And there was a great outcry by a lot of prominent people and not so prominent that the Chinese were coming to take over. What's your take on that, Barry? You think the Chinese would be good for downtown Nassau from what you know about it?
Well, you know, I think what I think is almost irrelevant because the reality is that they have a huge presence in this country. If you look at China's State Construction and their position in Bahama, if you look at China's position in Hutchison, and just between those two enterprises alone, you're talking about probably close to $4 or $5 billion of investment. I think what's instructive, I mean, and I fully appreciate that China's economy is much larger by many factors than the Bahamas' economy will ever be, but what you have really is a mindset, is an approach, it's an entrepreneurial spirit, it's belief in and adherence to a national strategy for their own development. The presence of the Chinese in the Bahamas and their interest in investing in the Bahamas is fundamentally a part of a national strategy of their country, their government and their people, to expand their economic reach in the world and in so doing build economic opportunity in their country. We need to have a similar strategy on our own scale here in the Bahamas, starting with opportunities like Freeport. Let's put in place a strategy that grows the economy of the country, developing Freeport. Let's put in place a strategy let's put in place a strategy that builds and creates the environment for young Bahamian entrepreneurs, young Bahamian business people with ideas to go out there and give genesis and reality to those ideas. But it has to be a part of a national commitment, forgetting about politics, which side of the aisle you're on, and being committed to creating in the Bahamas the right kind of circumstances for people with ideas, entrepreneurs, young folks to go out there and make a buck, to create an enterprise, to create value, irrespective of what their church might be or their politics might be. The commitment should be a national Bahamian commitment to excellence, a national Bahamian commitment to entrepreneurship, a national Bahamian commitment to creating the environment for businesses in this country, big and small, to grow and thrive and prosper and compete with the rest of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, talking about going international, I want to congratulate my very good friend, Dr. Miles Monroe from Bahamas Faith Bahamas Faith Ministries, sorry. Dr. Monroe started from scratch. Baintown. Lord of mercy. Future constituency for Ortland H. Bodie Jr., Bain and Grantstown. And Dr. Monroe told me off air that recently he received a royalty check. And I wouldn't tell you how much the royalty check would have been for, but it was huge.
Plenty zeros.
I mean, plenty zeros. I almost have as much as in my own account too, but plenty zeros from Barry and Dillon. And that's from writing his books, which are sold around the world in the millions.
He turned into a frog.
He's a big frog now. Well, I'm a halfway big frog. Barry and Dillon, I want to thank you both gentlemen for coming from Freeport at your own expense and taking time from your schedule. God bless you. You have an open invitation. And Barry, you want to say goodbye to anybody quickly? Dillon, anybody quickly? You have a half a second or less?
It's great to be here, and thank you, Nassau, for listening. Please note that our recommendations to government are on our website, gbchamber.org. Just go on the site. You can pull it down. Please read it. It's worth having the information on what is being recommended by Bahamians for Grand Bahama and for the economy of the country from Grand Bahama. God bless.
Dillon, one quick second, Dillon.
I articulate what Barry just says. We also have a Facebook page, GB Chamber on Facebook, and you can access that as well. We thank you for having us, and we hope that we've been able to shed some light on this topical issue.
God bless you, sir. I want to remind the public that the club, that this Friday night is Epic First Friday at Club Ibiza, Bahama on West Bay Street. Epic First Friday takes place the first Friday of this month and every month thereafter. The event organizer will be selecting one lucky patron who, along with a friend, will be sent on an all-expenses paid trip to Turks and Caicos Island next week. And that will be at the One Drop Bam Bam weekend. That's October 10th to 12th. And where? A lot of mercy. Just be in the club Ibiza, Bahama. That's Friday night, tomorrow night. Get yourself registered and you could be the one to take that trip. Epic First Friday is brought to you by Pat Grove, East Blast, Hattie, Heineken, and Ibiza, Bahama, and more 94.9 FM.